Brierley, Executive Director of Guru Digital Arts College, to speak about cross-disciplinary arts.
How you doing? Yeah, you had a drink? You had a pee? All's well? So I started out in theater. I went to Arts Trek and I went to McEwen. That's me in the YMCA instructor shirt. I taught swimming for a while. And I love theater. In fact, I love interactive theater. I got into improvisation. I got into musical theater. And you know, theater was my life for about 15 years. I was an actor, director, had a very small theater company for a very brief period of time. And then one day I woke up and I needed to get into digital media. So I became a digital media producer and a teacher. This is a work by one of my students. It's a mashup. And mashups became a real theme for me because I wanted to bring the interactive and the whole world of finding those interesting intersections. So we do all kinds of crazy things with people. We make a fashion designer work with a literary festival to create a cloak of truth where there's pages of a book inside the lapel. So it doesn't always happen in a digital space. And then I get this call from Michael Fair. You've heard of Michael Fair, right? Yeah. He says, I want to do something in a back alley. Can we get a projector and maybe some art and some stuff and project it into a back alley? And I said, yeah, sure, let's do that. That's something that I learned in theater, was to say, yes, let's. And so we started to explore this whole notion of projection mapping. And in projection mapping, what you do is you take regular plain old projectors like this one, and you project onto non-standard surfaces. Those are hula hoops up there. And we used actually a Photoshop to create the spotlight. It's just a circle, white circle. This is projection mapping onto an umbrella and a motorcycle helmet and a window frame. And so these are experiments that we got into, and we started exploring where are the interesting surfaces, where are the interesting intersections that we can get into and play with and project onto. We projected onto the curves inside the AGA just to see, you know, how will people react to that, and what's going to happen. We got involved with the Works, the International Arts Festival, and they made us a tent in the middle of Churchill Square in the summer, lined with black. It was really hot. And we had my brilliant team over here. They created these plexiglass surfaces that we could project onto. And then we worked with a graphic designer who had these amazing murals and had street artists come out, and they started playing in the middle of Winston Churchill Square with the Works. And we started doing street art while we're doing these projections. And then I get a call from the Banff Center, and they say, you know, we want you to do something with this show that we're going to workshop called Froggy. And what we need you to do is we need you to come out for 4 days. Yeah, 4 days. And we want you to build a game. We want you to use the Xbox Kinect. And we want you to be able to allow an actor to control what happens on the scene behind them in a projection mapping environment. So I had to program this thing and connect the Xbox Kinect. Sat on the floor. We had a little grid for the actor to walk around in, and as the actor moved around the stage and turned left and right, he was able to control the virtual scenery so that he looked like he was in the game and performing in the game itself as part of the scene. We didn't have the technology, so we had to use a video camera to actually capture the video game screen, and then take that and feed it into the media server, and then from there into the projector. So it was kind of a wacky combination of technology. But you know, when you come from theater, you use binder twine and string and right. Then they invited me back. We had so much fun. They invited me back to start work with dancers and sort of interactive video projection mapping again. This is a dancer working with a screen. The blue is a heat map of her body as she's moving around. And I realized I needed to find some more interesting venues to play in. And so I met this guy named Thomas Scott, and he had this group called the Urban Monks. And so I decided, wouldn't it be fun to be a VJ? You know, at the tender age of 45, I'm gonna go, you know, and have some fun on stage with a couple of DJs. And then we get an invite from the Citadel to go play at the Rice Space, now called the Club. And there was this funk band, and we projection mapped them. And then we went off into the second floor of Teddy's. So no space is sacred. We'll map it. We'll project on it. We'll make it go. We'll have some fun. We projected onto Spiderweb, Halloween style. This is the Tim Center. We went out and had a lot of fun mapping the foyer of the Tim's Theater. And everything in there is mapped, including the pictures on the wall. And yes, the steel door is actually foam core, and we're projecting onto that. So, what's my canvas? Everything. People, places, drywall. Thank you very much.